Blended learning is basically the combination of online learning in a brick and mortar school. We have a technical definition for it where we talk about how it's online content and instruction that students engaging part of the time at least, where they have some element of control over the time, the place, the path, and the pace of learning, and at least in part in a brick and mortar facility supervised by an adult. But basically that generally equals online learning in brick and mortar settings.
So what does it take to implement blended learning in your school? A successful transition to digital learning includes these key phrases: creating the conditions for success, planning, implementation, and continuous improvement. The process starts with a community conversation to build support for change. Study successful schools. Ask people what they are excited about and what they are concerned about. Showcase teacher leaders. Let students explain the benefits of digital learning. In Maine, for Governor Angus King in 2002, this meant taking the message to the people.
But what he was able to do was to just simply show it to people. Go around the state, essentially barnstorming, and demonstrating how lessons could be different. Teaching history classes in middle schools around the state, and showing how, through the use of the technology, you could bring kids face to face with actual primary source documents. You know, it became a huge public awareness campaign because, as Angus will tell the stories, it definitely wasn't a popular idea to start with, because the idea of deploying personal digital technologies to kids really was a very foreign idea. Today, I think it's a much more accepted idea.
We're particularly excited about the idea of blended learning because we believe that it's possible to really create an individualized learning experience for every child. And the idea of combining great teachers alongside an individualized learning platforms leveraging technology is really going to be what the next couple of decades are about in terms of really trying to close the achievement gaps between the United States and the rest of the world, and inside our country between ethnic and demographic groups.
There are 5 important decisions that must be made during the planning phase. Start with learning goals. Think through what the work products will be and what the learning experiences should include. Keep student learning at the center of your strategy. You don't have to do everything at once. Consider phasing changes in over 3 years, or look for potential pilot programs like in Reynoldsburg, Ohio.
We also offer a blended learning opportunity at a 5-8 middle school, Hannah Ashton Middle School, which is one of our highest performing middle schools. In fact, it is the highest performing middle school in the state of Ohio for middle schools that serve a student population that has 50% or more minority and or 50% poverty. So we started with that particular school because we had teachers interested in it. We had a principal who felt very strongly about the opportunities that blended learning would afford our young people, and so we initiated a pilot in that particular middle school this past summer.
The second decision is building a school model that leverages great teaching with technology. Study the options by reviewing promising models and visiting schools. The third decision is choosing digital content and a learning platform. Explore the range of options from adaptive instructional programs to open educational resources. The fourth decision is the device. Depending on your school model, you may want to work towards a vision of a 3-screen day: a consumption device, a production device, and presentation screens. Phase in access to take-home devices for every student, and ask students to bring what they have. Update your acceptable use policies, and build a culture of responsibility.
Maine has had a one-to-one program since 2002. We've been able to provide teacher training to teachers, leadership training to our school administrators, technical training to our technicians, and of course, really empowering kids and teachers to change the way classrooms are held and the way learning is done in the state of Maine. So today's kids are able to access primary resources through the internet, visit places they couldn't usually visit because they're in Maine and not somewhere else.
The fifth critical decision is staffing and professional development. The entire process should leverage teacher leadership. Kick off the planning process by highlighting what innovative teachers are doing. By the end of the planning process, every teacher should be part of a learning team and should have an individual development plan. After creating conditions for success in the 5 planning decisions, it's time to implement, then measure, learn, and improve. To learn more, download the Blended Learning Implementation Guide.